And the reason it's happening, Steve, it's not just an invasion. It is an invasion, but an invasion that is part of a long-term plan and political ideology to obliterate the sovereignty of this nation and change the way the world looks forever. It's not just America's sovereignty that's on the chopping block. It's sovereignty all over the world. It's just that this is the place that is the light and the guide for the whole world.
So it's a part of a plan that we're just having porous borders and thousands of people are pouring across the border every day? Like, what would be the motivation for that? Why would they do that in the United States? Well, now it's coming together. So pay attention to what she says next. Listen.
And what I learned from a source, who is a very unique source, having infiltrated the globalist cult at the UN level, is that he was in high-level meetings that required a number of security clearances where they actually discussed the plan to bring 100 million people into the United States in order to pave the way for a regional government of US, Canada, and Mexico.
What? This was the plan. A high-level source at the United Nations with multiple levels high of security clearance saying that this was discussed, authorized, executed upon to allow 100 million people to pour across the border into the United States, therefore completely altering. We've already seen it altering voting landscape in the United States.
Yes.
Right? Maybe not to the way the Democrats had hoped, actually, but certainly changing the demographics of state after state after state. To have 100 million new people in the United States, in many ways, and what she's saying is it would just make it like irrelevant to have borders. What's crazy?
What's crazy is like there was a long time ago, probably 15, 20 years ago at this point, that I listened to Alex Jones, and he talked about this back then.
I just saw someone in the chat saying Alex Jones has been saying this for years.
Yes, for a very long time. Yeah, it is crazy.
And I've never heard that.
So this is ordained by the United States, or it's a United Nations plan outside of, like, in on the underground?
So I think the way to look at this, right, is that, and I know your trepidations on all of it, because it's scary, right? It's like really?
I'm not trepidatious about it, but I have a lot of questions.
I'm trepidatious about it, but I see how these globalists work, and now that we have enough people who have been a part, we've seen their documents, we've seen it written down, we've seen leaked memos, we've seen these meetings come out, we've seen hidden videos of them admitting to this. Like, enough is enough. And by the way, we're seeing it in action, right? We're seeing it with the pandemic. We're seeing it with lockdowns. We're seeing it with what's going on in Ukraine and sanctions and energy prices and everything. Of course, it's all been planned, right? The Beyond Meat, getting rid of meat, all of it's coming together.
Right.
So, the United Nations is just simply like a mouthpiece for these unelected globalists. That's it, right? So is the United States, right? So these unelected globalists are running the show.
Okay, sure.
So the unelected globalists, the Klaus Schwabs, the people, the billionaire class who are running everything are just basically funneling money and picking and choosing their winners. You have the BlackRocks, the Vanguards of the world who are funneling, they own everything, right? So they don't want borders. Borders makes trade inconvenient. It makes commerce inconvenient for them. And so imagine 100 million people moving into the United States. It would make these borders artificially that are there anyway worthless. And to create like a new North American European Union, basically.
Yeah.
We already have it with NAFTA, right? We already have it with trade agreements. Why not just get rid of the borders altogether and just call it what it is?
Did you know that?
Well, in my journey...
Go ahead, please.
Sorry. Well, I was just gonna say my journey of like getting to where I'm at today. Like I started off and like the first rabbit hole I went down, I was like, oh no, I don't want to believe this. This was so hard to believe. But then when you go through that over and over and over again, and you just realize these people are not here for us at all. Globally, they're not here for the people. They're here for their own interests. And so once you start to look at everything through that lens, every narrative that they put out starts to fall apart.
Yeah. It's scary. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
So I just want to listen to that soundbite again. Let's play that soundbite again where she talks about this source at the United Nations. Listen.
And what I learned from a source, who is a very unique source, having infiltrated the globalist cult at the UN level is that he was in high-level meetings that required a number of security clearances where they actually discussed the plan to bring 100 million people into the United States in order to pave the way for a regional government of US, Canada, and Mexico.
ये तो नहीं थी वो सुबह जो रातों को जिसकी खातिर चले, कटता नहीं है ये रास्ता, लो होते नहीं कम ये फासले, पर कम होंगे बढ़ते रहेंगे ये हौसले, ये हौसले, ये हौसले, ये हौसले। रातों को जिसकी खातिर जगे मिलके मिटाए जिसके अंधेरे हमने चुराए दिल के दिए, हम कम होंगे बढ़ते रहेंगे ये हौसले, ये हौसले।